This year, the Blue Angels will start their show season by taking off and landing here at the newly named Vashu Airfield in El Centro, an airfield which previously didn't have a name. I'm gearing up to give you a bird's eye view of El Centro and the central role that it plays in naval aviation, with history dating back to World War II. During that time, Alexander Vashu was reigning as the Navy's top ace fighter.
Naval aviation has grown on the shoulders of pilots like him. And his experiences is what's getting the Naval Aviation and the Blue Angels to where we are today.
That's Lieutenant Kerry Rickoff, Blue Angels narrator number 7, and my pilot. Ace Vashu was best known for shooting down 6 Japanese dive bombers in 8 minutes. He also survived 2 of his aircraft carriers being torpedoed and was forced to parachute to safety twice when he had to ditch his Grumman F-6F Hellcat.
Getting out of 2 different Grumman aircraft and still going back up in the air, that's an impressive human being.
We're 45 degrees nose high. There's 60.
There's the sun.
There's 90. We are straight up right now.
Straight up.
In 1946, the Blue Angels formed as a way to boost morale and raise the public interest in naval aviation, a tradition that continues today. 1946, the same year this air facility was taken over by the Navy. Vashu trained in El Centro in the 50s, after the war winning the Fleet Air Gunnery Unit annual weapons meet with the highest aerial marksman score ever as a commanding officer.
I feel the need.
Oh boy.
Come out here for a few reasons. The weather out here is ideal for us training. Each of the demonstration pilots require 120 training flights before our public demonstration. And then additionally the airspace, we're kind of out of everyone's way. We can do our training and get the work done that we need.
This F-18 Hornet tops out at about 1,200 miles per hour. That's 3 times the speed of the F-6F Hellcat that Vashu often flew. The Hellcat, well, it raised some you-know-what, and it was the initial aircraft that the Blue Angels used in their flights.
I think he'd be very excited. Going back to the F-6F Hellcat, that was our very first aircraft. Blue Angels flew F-6F Hellcats for the first couple months when the team was developed back in 1946. And I think he'd be ecstatic to see his plane flying over his field 73 years later.
I weigh about 150 pounds, we'll say, so every G this Hornet pulls adds 150 pounds of pressure. At 7 Gs, I feel the added pressure equal to a grand piano, which can result in this. Yeah, that's 7.6 Gs.
I definitely passed out.
Yeah, it's okay.
Wow! Wow! That was what?
Largely the maneuvers are the same that you would have seen back then in 1946, just maybe a little higher and a little faster.
He was known as indestructible, his legacy undeniable, and now his contribution to naval aviation will live on through air shows for years to come that will take place on his namesake.
Man, here's the G Monster.
Ooh, is that my sign?
What's that?
My call sign?
You want to be G Monster? Sure.
Yes! Reporting from above Vashu Field at Naval Air Facility El Centro, Tabitha G Monster Lipkin, Fox 5 News.
Nice.
5 peaks ranging from 1,000 feet all the way up to nearly 1,600 feet. And many people like to take the 5-peak challenge and hike them all over a course of days, weeks, or even months. Tabitha Lipkin hiked them all in one night as part of an endurance event called GORUCK Tough, created by a retired Green Beret.
I'm at Mission Trails in Santee, where I'm about to do my first ever GORUCK Tough event. Now what that means is I have 12 hours ahead of me. It is 9 o'clock at night. I am not going to finish until 9 a.m. I will be doing 5 peaks, and I will also be traveling about 20 miles. Now I can't do any of that without my backpack. Now this isn't just any backpack, this is my GORUCK sack, and in it I have everything I'm going to need for my journey. I've got water, I've got a Red Bull because it is 12 hours, I've got some of my favorite snacks, I've got extra batteries, I've got the GoPro that I'm going to be filming everything on this entire time, and because it's a GORUCK Tough event, I have this 20-pound weight I'll be carrying the entire time. All right, this is it. Here we go. Rucking is basically hiking with added weight to a pack on your back, used in Special Forces training. GORUCK aims to give anyone the opportunity to experience rucking, from a light challenge that lasts about 5 hours to special events that can last for days. This tough event, as it's called, is led by retired Special Forces Captain, now cadre, Kevin Edgerton, who spent 26 years in the U.S. Army.
So I have a lot of fun. I go around, all over the country, and interacting with Americans that come together is pretty amazing. You know what I mean? You don't have to do this, right? You just come together. I get to learn about you, you get to learn about me. I get to pass on some knowledge to them, and they get to, tell me what they do.
Okay, as a team, we made it up to the top of the first peak by 11 p.m. with a team weight of 130 pounds. We're going to be carrying this the entire time up all 5 peaks. Peak 1 is done.
The determination is everything is mental. Anything that we did in special operations, it's 95% of it's mental.
We have made it to the top of Peak 2, Piles. It is just after midnight. 3 more peaks to go. Peak 3, Koi Pai. Feeling pretty beat right now.
My events are different because we're all different people. And so since I'm a strength conditioning coach, I focus more on, mobility, actual dynamic warm-up.
It's tough because you want to stop and rest, but if you do, you get really cold. So you have to choose. It's just after 6:30. We've made it to the 4th peak, North Fortuna. It is so pretty. Oh my goodness. But it is exhausting. I've got 2 hours.
This is it. Of Gummy Bears, this is Fortuna South, just after 7:30. We've made it to the 5th and final peak, and now it's all downhill.
Oh, the last mile is definitely the hardest. In the end, it was all worth it. In an event where you're only as strong as your weakest, it takes great strength to succeed. Tabitha Lipkin.
Fox 5 Sports!
A journey of recovery for Keen Webre Hayes, who survived a great white shark attack right here at Beacons Beach in Encinitas just a year ago. Since then, he's become an ocean conservationist and shark ally who took the trip of a lifetime to see great white sharks in person for the very first time since being attacked. Here was his first reaction.
That was awesome.
Yeah, dude.
So many big sharks. So cool to see them just kind of chilling and doing their thing.
With the man who saved him and the man who's making a documentary about him. Keen traveled about 200 miles off the coast of San Diego to Guadalupe Island, Mexico with Islander charters. Just one of 3 places in the world where you can get inches away from a great white shark in its natural habitat. At 14 years old, he's fighting to change people's perspectives on sharks.
Because you see them on TV just attacking everything they see, jumping full out of the water and everything, and then it was just so, life-changing to see them, just cruising, because, usually, with Jaws, they bite everything they see. But they, one shark did, I think, 8 passes before it actually took a bite. So they're very methodical, very conservative with their energy, so they don't just sprint the whole time and then they're just tired to eat it. So it was just crazy to see them just cruising next to the cage and everything.
Chad Hamill was kayaking at the time Keen was attacked. A year ago, he was just a good Samaritan who stepped in to save a life. Now he and Keen are friends, bonded together by fate.
It was really great to see someone that went through such a horrible experience, because I have a bunch of friends that if they had the same thing happen to them, they'd never set foot in the water again. And seeing someone who's a lot younger and just brave and just want to do exactly that, get back on the horse, is an experience I'll never forget.
He was a child, and now he's a full-grown man. He's more mature than half my friends are, so it's been incredible. And not only that, to watch him as a diver, to see kind of just how he started as just, his first time diving was the time he got attacked, and now he's progressed so much to the point where it's I can't even really give him tips that much anymore.
Nathan Manata currently making a documentary about Keen's journey, documenting the attack to now, a more experienced spear fisherman and freediver, recently learning to scuba dive as well. Loving the water, his focus remains on conservation.
Over fishing our ocean, and then the sharks, help that a lot. They're really important to the ecosystem. So without them, our reefs would just be packed with just fish, and then there wouldn't be enough reef to house all of them. So they're super important, and I don't want to see the ocean, one of my favorite places, to get hurt and stuff.
Hamill in awe of the journey they've taken 1 year since the attack.
It was absolutely incredible. You can't believe what it's like to not only have like a bucket list item of doing that, but then also like living the dream with someone that's, you know, important to you. And like seeing these animals in the wild in their natural habitat is one of the most incredible experiences.
Next for Keen, he's been asked to be a speaker for Bethany Hamilton's event Anchored in Love, taking place at the end of the month right here in San Diego. And be on the lookout for his documentary in the near future. Tabitha Lipkin, Fox 5 Sports.
The off-season for many sports can leave a lull in activities for some pro athletes. So our Tabitha Lipkin decided to check in on the Sockers and Seals to see if they're staying in shape. What better way to do that than in a friendly competition in a totally different environment?
It's a head-to-head competition at the newly reopened plunge pool right here in Mission Beach. We have San Diego Sockers midfielder Travis Pittman versus San Diego Seals transition player Johnny Pearson. 3 events, only 1 victor. And so you know what it's like for an average person. I'll go ahead and I'll join them. The 3 events include a ring toss, ring gathering, and a floaty swim in this Fox 5 friendly. We'll get to know our players a little bit while they battle it out.
I was in a cornhole tournament a couple weeks ago, so I think that ring toss might be in my favor.
First in the ring toss, Johnny actually comes in second, while Travis comes out on top. What is something that people may not know about you, Travis? You're new to San Diego, you're new to the Sockers. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Try not to take myself too serious, right? I like to have fun, enjoy my friends. I have a couple friends from West Virginia where I went to school, and that's something. I went to school at West Virginia University. From Northern Virginia, a place called Manassas, big Civil War area.
Next, in the ring gathering, the boys ultimately tie, and I lose again. So where are you from? Some things that people may not know about you.
So I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, so up in Canada. I went to school in Ohio State. Love the outdoors, skydiving. Done that a few times. Big hunting, fishing guy, things like that.
But we can't forget the floaty swim, one of the Olympics' toughest events.
I think I'm gonna kill it on the flamingo. I hope to get the flamingo in the little paddle race.
Where I absolutely dominate. Johnny, not far behind me, and Travis, pulling up the rear on that flamingo. Oh yeah, look at these guys. Do I have to come back? Oh, the Seals and Sockers have proven that they are worthy adversaries against one another, but I have a surprise. So I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is the physical portion of this competition is over, and you guys legitimately both tied each other. So the tiebreaker is now going to be a little bit of San Diego sports trivia. Are you ready? You're both in your second year at your team, so I'll give you a little break on this. The first question for you is, what sport was founded in San Diego? You say horse polo, and you say water polo? Okay. Well, it's the triathlon in 1974. What was the first professional sports team in San Diego?
Padres. Football. Chargers.
You are correct, it's the Chargers. So, you guys are evenly matched physically, but when it came down to a tiny bit of trivia, I'm sorry, Travis, but Johnny wins it.
It's a huge win, and I'm a little disappointed there's not a plaque or a trophy, but this duffel bag will be my trophy.
If you want to catch Travis and Johnny out of the water and onto the field, both of their regular seasons will be starting in November. Reporting from the plunge pool in Mission Beach, Tabitha Lipkin, Fox 5 Sports.
People are always afraid of sharks because they see shark attacks on TV.
Apparently there was some sort of shark that was sighted this afternoon.
But the majority of sharks are docile, curious creatures.
We dive with these sharks every day, and we have every day since we opened over 10 years ago, and these sharks don't seem to mind us.
In this 190,000-gallon tank, you'll find a variety of sharks vital to our oceans. Sharks are like bees of the ocean, keeping reefs and ecosystems healthy.
Sharks are really important for ecosystems because they keep a really healthy balance with the food chain. They help make sure all the fish populations stay at a steady level.
An estimated 100 million sharks are killed annually for their fins, along with rays, like this curious and friendly little eagle ray. The aim at Sea Life Aquarium at Legoland California Resort is to get people talking about sharks in a positive light. There are more than 30 sharks in their aquariums, from white-tip reef sharks to the local leopard sharks, and even Dive Master Matt's favorite.
My favorite shark here at Sea Life is definitely the zebra sharks. We have 3 zebra sharks here, 2 females, and we have 1 male. They get up to 12 feet long, but usually average around 7 to 8 feet. What's cool about them is when they're born, they have stripes, which is how they get their name, the zebra shark. But as they get older, that skin expands and the stripes turn to spots, so they kind of have more of a cheetah pattern than they do a zebra pattern, which I think is pretty neat.
A shark so friendly, they'll even nudge your legs to come say hi, but it certainly helps if you're feeding them a little snack. One way everyone can be hands-on with sharks at Sea Life Aquarium, you can play along in the Shark Mission Room, even learning the anatomy of a great white shark.
Sharks and stingrays are really closely related, so it's very cool that we added the manta ray to it because it is such a unique creature and it blends in well with the sharks.
Whether it be connecting with a sea life from a tunnel through the aquarium, handing off a tasty treat to a black-tip reef shark, or playing a video game, education is the aim. It's not these images of sharks, it's these.
It's really important to educate everybody about it because maybe everybody's not used to living this close to the ocean, to make them more aware of how easy they are and how they benefit our ecosystem.
To be an advocate for sharks, there's several things you can do at home. Number 1, you can inquire about your seafood and whether or not it's sustainably caught. There's a guide and an app online. Number 2, you can avoid the use of single-use plastics, many of which end up in the ocean. And number 3, you can take part in one of the 12 beach cleanups that Sea Life puts on every year. To learn more about all of that, we put a link on fox5sandiego.com. Reporting from Sea Life Aquarium at Legoland California Resort, Tabitha Lipkin, Fox 5 News.